Hi friends, I hope everyone's having a really beautiful, nourishing day today. I am tuning in from Chiripo, this beautiful mountain town in Costa Rica. I'm on this precious, abundant piece of land. You can probably hear the birds and the river in the background. It's just down that way. And the insects. And yeah, I'm really immersed in nature, feeling super regulated and present and calm, and so grateful to be here, and so grateful to have cultivated a life where I get to work from around the world, where I'm not tied to any location or any timing. I create my own schedule. I just really get to live a life that's mine. And I thought it'd be fun to come share today a little bit of my journey into cultivating a life that is completely my own, especially coming from Western society, from New York, where the general consensus is you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job in an office in Manhattan, you work until you're 65 or 70, you retire. That's kind of the way of the world, and it's fortunately not the way of my world, and I knew that from a very young age, that I was not normal, I was not meant for that kind of reality, and I was meant to pave my own way. And I'm so grateful for the many facets of this journey that have led me to being here now, where I'm self-sustained and doing work that I deeply love, and supporting women in cultivating their own lives of freedom and prosperity and impact in whatever ways feel most true and exciting and aligned for them. So I guess this journey starts in college. I went to Penn State University. I was the social chair of my sorority. I was the party girl through and through. And I just started to recognize, despite my lack of awareness and lack of listening, I was gently and slowly starting to become aware of my intuition. And for the first time, I was recognizing the fact that maybe what I'm doing doesn't feel aligned. I studied public relations and marketing in college, and I would skip classes as much as possible. I just tried to beat around the bush of university. I didn't really care. I didn't feel excited. I didn't have any expectations really, but I guess I just knew that I was going to graduate and try to find a PR firm to work in. But that always sat not so well in my body. It did not feel good in my system, and I knew that something had to change, but I did not know what, I did not know how, I did not know why. Fast forward a bit to my junior year of university, I had the absolute honor and privilege of studying abroad at the University of Sydney. So I packed my bags, and for 6 months I lived in Sydney, Australia, and what a time it was. The second I landed in Sydney, I had this insane aha moment where I was like, nobody knows me here. I can be whoever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do. I have this time and space to reassess what it means to be Emma. And for some reason, that is not something I had done previously. It was just roll with the punches, go with the flow, drink the alcohol, go to the parties, go to class, do the things you need to do. Just like this constant cycle of monotonous, boring life. And I wasn't having it. And I got to Australia and something just hit my system. And I was like, I can be who I am. I can do what I want. What do I want? Who am I? And it was, I guess you could call it my spiritual awakening, was this moment where I was just like, who's Emma? I don't know. I've been masked and caged and suppressed for so long that I don't even know who Emma is. And so the 6 months that unfolded were nothing short of miraculous, and I got to discover who I was for the first time in my life in a real, clear, profound way. And towards the end of my Australia journey, I lived in a hostel in Byron Bay that was very expressive and liberated. It was a bunch of hippies backpacking, traveling the world, singing songs, dancing, expressing, creating art, and living in alignment with nature, with no rules, no phones, no technology. It was just pure presence. And I had a really beautiful plant medicine ceremony on the beach in Byron Bay. And when I kind of came back to myself towards the end and went and sat in the ocean and held myself, I had this moment of clarity. It was probably the strongest moment of clarity at the time that I had ever had in my entire existence as Emma. And it was this clear, you are never going to work in an office download. You are never going to work for someone else. You are not meant to follow the corporate path. This is not your life. This is not your reality. You have a choice. Choose it. And I made a promise to myself in the ocean in Australia that I would never work in an office and I would never work for someone else as an employee for my career. Now, I came back to the US and I waitressed and I did an internship because reality came back to me and I lost a little bit of the magic, but the seed was planted. And so my senior year of college, I waitressed, I got by, I did whatever I needed to do to make money. And that next summer I had an internship at a PR firm and I quit after 1 week. I hated it. I remembered the seed that was planted within me where I was just like, no ma'am, you do not need to do this. You promised yourself you wouldn't. And so I waitressed for that summer just to save up some money. I ended up moving to Brooklyn, which was an interesting time in my life. At the time, I still thought I might want to work in the music industry and ended up getting a job at an epic venue in Brooklyn doing social media, which felt exciting because, yes, technically I had a boss, but it was something I loved dearly. I was going to shows that I would be buying tickets for anyways and getting to actually be part of the magic. But I quickly realized that it came at a cost, and the music industry is quite hectic and overwhelming and not super healthy, and it's really late nights and there's a lot of alcohol and drugs, and I won't generalize and say this is everyone, but in my experience it was just not aligned. And so I took a beat, and actually I took a beat because COVID hit. So the beat was in my head and then life presented itself to me in the most timely and profound way. So COVID hit and I was furloughed from the marketing job. I was furloughed from working in a restaurant. Obviously, neither of them were open. And by the grace of Western society and the USA, they did something right for me, and I was financially supported for the next year, as many of us were, by the government. And that was a sense of freedom that I had never experienced before, because I was pretty much broke and dysregulated and all over the place. But I was like, at least I'm free. If I can be free from this boss, this office, this job that I hate, and be a little dysregulated and chaotic and unstable, I'll take it any day. And immediately upon receiving this money, I was like, I have to use this to build something. This is my moment. Like, the universe is literally handing me on a silver platter an opportunity to build my own reality and build my own dream. And so I immediately hired a mentor to get certified in breathwork facilitation. And I ended up joining the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is a 1-year certification program to become a holistic health coach. And immediately I realized that it was time to start building a brand and start sharing myself and sharing my journey. And so I shifted from just posting photos of myself and my life on Instagram to starting to get clear on what it looked like to be a business owner and to share from the perspective of someone who wants to support human beings in their vitality and in their inner healing. And so, I started to get a bit consistent with social media. I was not super consistent then. It was pretty all over the place. But for the next year, I worked with business coaches. I read all the business books. I finished my certifications, and I learned how to start marketing myself, how to create funnels, lead magnets, all of the behind the scenes work of becoming my own digital marketer, essentially, my own branding expert, and learning how to create content that was valuable for the specific people I wanted to support. And I ended up creating a signature offer, my first program that I worked with about 10 women through. And it was so beautiful, and I learned so much. And simultaneously, I was still really encoded in my scarcity beliefs. And so I was taking on clients that were a little bit misaligned. I still was able to support them, but it wasn't a 100% yes, a full body yes in my being. Because the prospect of making money doing what you love on a very realistic level gets to you. I was like, oh my God, people want to pay me? Of course, let me take that. Like, that's a dream. And over the years, I've gotten to refine, and now I only say yes to absolute full body yeses. But it was the beginning stages. And after those 10 clients kind of finished up, I realized that this was not sustainable. I was burnt out. I was really tired. My energy wasn't feeling good. And I realized that I needed to take a beat from coaching, from showing up as that facilitator. And so I started to question what I was good at and what I could do. And this is when I started to really dive into TikTok. This was in 2022. I realized how many people were blowing up on this app. I realized that there was something here that I could potentially embark on. And I wanted to give it a try. And at the time, I had just moved to a small beach town in Panama. I was dead broke. My friend had invited me to come teach meditations and breathwork once a week in exchange for a free room and meals in Playa Vanao, this special beach town on the west side of Panama. And so I went with no idea what to expect, no job prospects, nothing. I just trusted the process and surrendered and knew I was not meant to be in New York winter. And when I arrived there, I met who is now one of my best friends, a woman who was crushing it on TikTok. And she really inspired me and gave me the momentum or the support system to start just showing up on TikTok and sharing my thoughts and my heart and my feelings and lessons that I had learned throughout my journey, and a lot of tools and resources around somatic healing and holistic health and spirituality and women's empowerment. And so I started building my TikTok, and simultaneously I decided to go on Upwork and start seeing if I could get some UGC clients or some social media management clients, and I made that decision to go the freelancing route. Within 1 month of being in Panama, I had 3 incredible, aligned, pretty high-paying clients, and for the first time in my life, I had complete consistency and enough money to pay my rent, to pay for my food, to pay for all my bills, and then some. And this was a whole recalibration of my nervous system, and it was such a profound time in my life because I had never been financially stable on my own, ever. I had never understood what it was like to function as an adult financially, and I realized that I could do this and that I was going to build this one-woman agency. And over the next 6 months, I ended up signing on like 12 to 15 clients. The freelance world is a bit unstable, so some would come, some would go, some would be shorter term. But for the 2 years that followed, I had a consistent 5 or 6 clients that were supporting me and having a stable income while I dove back into what my brand could look like, what I wanted my brand to look like. Now, simultaneously, that summer of 2022, my TikTok had hit 10K followers, and then 30K followers, and then 50K followers. And by January of 2023, I had hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. So now I had my agency that was calling in 10K a month, roughly, and my brand, which had 100,000 followers, and now I was signing all these brand deals and all these doors were opening and people wanted to have me on their retreats and on their podcasts, and it was a huge expander for me. It was something I always wanted when I was younger, to like have a big following like that. And what I realized was, 1, the numbers don't matter, but 2, the doors that open and the opportunities that arise when you devote to sharing yourself online is unmatched. And so, I was at this really profound place of like, the opportunities are flowing. I feel such momentum. I feel such power in my gifts and in my skill set and in my ability to do this work. And the agency was feeling really draining. I was getting really tired because I was creating a lot of content for other brands. And then I was wanting to create content for my brand, but I didn't have the energy or capacity because I was so focused on the others. And divine timing is so real. At this time that I said to the universe, I don't know if I'm ready yet, but I really don't want all these clients anymore. Like 3 out of my 4 or 5 clients ended up dropping our contracts. And I knew the universe was nudging me into my next chapter and into my next vision for life. And there was a morning where I was sitting doing a morning pages practice, kind of visioning what the next step could look like. And I wrote out this group program in its entirety called Brand Alchemy. And what it was a culmination of my last year and a half of brand building, growing an online community, UGC, creating content, all of this marketing work with all the work that I was previously doing, which is cycle syncing, overcoming the fear of being seen, radical self-expression, chakra healing, all of this abundant mindset, overcoming scarcity, nervous system regulation. And I realized that there weren't many people in the marketing space that were teaching it in, first of all, a feminine way to support female biology, and in a body-based way, generally speaking, blending the worlds of healing and energetics with marketing and strategy. And I decided to put it out the next day that I would be launching this next month. And within that month and a half, I signed 15 women. That was my goal. I sold out the first round of Brand Alchemy. And that was when this entire new rebrand of Emma was born. And my personal brand completely shifted from holistic wellness and women's empowerment, although they're still a huge part of who I am and what I love to talk about, into this world of radical self-expression and sovereignty and building a life on your own terms. And so for the last almost 2 years now, I've expanded Brand Alchemy into this massively impactful program. I've supported hundreds of women in creating their own sovereign lives. And the beauty of it is that what I share and what I offer is what I teach. And you can see it's full circle of it working. Like, I'm here. The proof is in the pudding of, like, I got to create this life where I'm sitting in this jungle in Costa Rica, recording YouTube videos, working with my dream clients, and helping them do the exact same thing, just in the ways that feel most true for them. And I guess the lessons here are, first and foremost, be so delusional in your belief to achieve the things you want to achieve in this life, and they will happen. Like, I just knew that my TikTok was going to blow up. I knew that I was going to be a successful entrepreneur. I knew that I was going to travel the world, and I knew that nothing would stop me. I would keep trying. I didn't care if I failed 100 times. I would keep doing the things, keep showing up until something landed. With that, number 2 is consistency is absolute queen. If you do not do the thing consistently, you will not see the results. I posted on my Instagram and TikTok every day for years. And yeah, some might say that's annoying or challenging, but you know what else is annoying and challenging? Working for someone else and living a life that you absolutely dislike. Like, choose your hard. This was a hard that the reward outweighed the challenges so significantly that I would do it again in a heartbeat, over and over and over again. I was consistent, I was devoted, I was delusional in my belief in myself, and I just didn't stop until my dreams became my reality. And I hope this is inspiration and permission for you to go after what you want. Like, the world is your oyster. There's endless opportunity, and if you feel called to explore my world of brand alchemy and personal branding, I really believe that social media is the greatest tool for self-expression, for impact, for service, because you can utilize your soul's essence, your unique medicine, your gifts, translate it through these beautiful little screens we have that people are using whether you're on there or not. The world's going to keep turning in the realms of social media. So you might as well get on there and make a positive impact, maybe help people get offline and better themselves, instead of allowing people who don't give a shit about humanity and the well-being of humans to make all the money and to get all the visibility and the followers and the impact. We need resources in the hands of humans, and especially women, who care about this world, about humanity, about peace, about regulation, about vitality. And so, yeah, you can check out my Instagram. It's Emma Marshall. That's where you'll find all the information for Brand Alchemy. If you just want to chat and share your story of finding your inner sovereignty and building a world you love, please reach out, share your heart with me. And if you feel called to follow me here on my YouTube journey, you can like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel called to share, and yeah, give into this space. It means the world to me. Your support means the world to me. And I'm super excited to just share more of my heart and my art and my experiences here with you, because I just really believe we are so powerful and we have so much opportunity to create in this world. And it is my hope for you that you create something you deeply adore with your entire being as well. So I'm sending you so much love.